Well, hello and welcome to the video. Today I'm going to do a autumnal woodland shoot with a little bit of a twist. So hello and welcome to the video. If you're new here, my name's Gary. I've been on YouTube for over 8 years and I've been a photographer for a lot longer than that. And if you're returning, then welcome back. It's really good to see you again. And I hope that you enjoyed the last video. So yeah, as I said in the title, I'm going to do some autumnal woodland photography. So I'm here in Buckinghamshire on Rammermere Heath. But I'm going to do it with a little bit of a twist, and I'll explain that to you in just a second. So firstly, this is only 35 minutes away from my house, and around where I live, autumn's really hit. I mean, it's not peak yet, but it's really starting to go. Here, it's a lot less autumnal than I was expecting. In fact, it's still rather green, but that's okay because we'll work with what we got. And in addition to that, I should say that it's, where are we now? I think we're about the 5th or 6th of October, and it's now currently 11:33 a.m. So it's kind of like where the sun's at its highest really for this time of year. And it's actually quite a bright sunny day, which are all things that I probably wouldn't do normally if I were coming out to shoot a little bit of woodland photography. But that's not actually the twist. So the twist today, the thing that I'm going to do differently, is I'm going to break one of my rules of woodland photography, and that is don't photograph the sky in the shot. So I have this real issue, or this real thing when I shoot woodland, about keeping the sky out of the shot because it's too bright, and and trying to keep as many of the highlights out as well in between the gaps in the leaves. But today I'm going to actually embrace the sky. And I'm going to shoot much more of the sky in the shot. So what I'm doing actually is I'm imagining that I've got a brief. The wind is blowing. Dear, the tripod's nearly over there, but we're okay. I'm imagining that I've got a brief today from a magazine where they want some typical, and there you go, some typical woodland autumnal shots, but with a bit of copy space. So I'm imagining that, for instance, there might be a big picture of a tree on the right hand side or left hand side of the image, and then opposite that a lot of negative space, bit of sky for some type. So that is the plan today. Obviously I can't imagine it's going to be all like that. I'm sure I will shoot some of my normal stuff if I see it, but that's kind of like the brief I've given myself to just to freshen things up and to try and do something a bit different. And the other thing I'm going to do is when I process this, I'm going to process it really bright and colourful. So I'm not going to oversaturate it, but I'm not going to mute it down like I normally do with a lot of my woodland stuff. I'm going to make it a bit more punchy and a little bit more saturated and a little bit more colourful than normal. Obviously not over the top. Anyway, enough of that waffling. I've been here for 15 minutes and I haven't even found a shot yet. So I guess I should start looking for something to actually shoot. So I was just about to say that we've lost a bit of the sunlight, which actually I kind of wanted, but it just popped back out for a brief moment there. So I've managed to get the shot again. Let me just quickly get it again before it disappears. And then I'll talk through exactly what the shot is here. So what we've got here is we've got this one really nice birch tree, and actually it is starting to show some really nice colour, some really nice yellows on it. And I've placed that on the left hand third of the image. There's also another birch tree over to the far left, and then there's a birch tree off in fact a couple. Let me just see if I've got that one in. Yeah, we've got a couple off to the right as well. And then this one is breaking the horizon of the trees, if you like, quite nicely, which is leaving us quite a lot of sky mainly over to the top right hand side. So that is where in this image I'm imagining that there's going to be some copy. So that would be what I was looking for here. Again, I will process this quite saturated, not too much, quite punchy, but I will bring the sky back a bit. I'm using a polarizer here, and the sky is very, very blue in this image. So I will bring that back a little bit in post-processing. Yeah, I think that's quite a nice start. Now, there are, if I can, I'll show you, I'll do a bit of B-roll of it. There are some quite nice little patches here still of heather that's still quite pink and purple, but working that into the shot is going to be tricky, because obviously I don't want to ruin what could be a really good shot by changing the composition just to fit a little bit of purple in. But if I can, then I will. Anyway, here's the image and you can have a look at it. So again, this is something that I would never normally shoot. We've just got this little view into this little valley here. And essentially what I'm doing here is I'm shielding under this tree, because we've got the sunlight directly up over here. So this is kind of, this tree here is really covering that. So we're not going to get any lens flare. We're not going to get too much of an issue from that. And then we've got this little pathway leading down here on the bottom left corner. And that essentially is going to be my copy space, just a little bit down the bottom. And I think this is quite a nice sort of autumnal scene here, even though it's not really that autumnal. We've got some nice browns in the foreground. We've got a little bit of colour on the trees, and we've got the blue sky in the background, which gives it a little bit more punch and a little bit more colour. So again, like I said, we've got the copy space down here in the bottom left hand corner, and there's some really nice backlighting on this little birch tree over on the right hand side, which I hope to bring out in post a little bit more. And you've got the tree through the far side, and then this sort of meandering path wandering down, although you don't see much of a path, but I think you can tell that that is the direction of the shot. So yeah, it's quite nice. I've come down a little bit lower because I don't want to introduce too much of this tree at the top, covering the tree at the back. So we are a bit lower, but the problem is by doing that, I've lost some of the path in the distance. But that being said, I still think it's quite a nice shot. Totally out of my, well, not comfort zone, but totally something I'd never normally shoot in woodland. But this is the beauty of doing something like this. It makes you think in different ways. So have a look, let me know what you think. Okay, so I don't know if you can see behind me here, but we've got this big old tree here, this big old birch tree, and underneath it and to the right of it, to the left of it as we're looking, sorry, you've got some sheep that are grazing. And I was thinking in terms again like of a magazine, that this could be like a double page spread, if you like, with the birch tree and a few of the sheep that are just grazing underneath it, and then going off to the right you've got some more like interesting trees and a few more sheep. And I thought it might make quite a good sort of, like I said, double page spread, and on the negative space on, say, like what would be the left hand page, you've got some space above the horizon where the sky is for some copy, and some space below as well. So like I said, I'm just trying to think slightly differently today in terms of how I'm doing this photography. But yeah, I mean, they've disappeared off a little bit, the sheep. They've sort of headed off into the background, but when I first got here, they were a little bit more under the tree. So hopefully, and there was some of them silhouetted and it looked quite nice. So hopefully one of the shots I've got will work. And if it does, then you'll see it now. Following on that sort of double page spread theme that I just did in the last shot, I've got this sort of image here in mind. I've got this really significant sort of row of big birch trees on the left hand side, and that sort of tapers over into some heather and then some different trees in the background with a little bit of sky again. Now the issue I've got with this one really is, where do I start the image in terms of the row of trees? Because there's so many of them, I don't think I can fit them all in the shot and still leave negative space on the right hand side for your copy. So I'm just going to shoot this out at basically 24mm, and then I'm just going to crop it in post to the point where I find it the most pleasing, I guess. Yeah, I'm not altogether sure about this one, if I'm honest. The other ones I've been a little bit more confident with, but this one might well work because it has all the elements to work, and the trees are quite nice in their colour, and there's some nice greens in the background as well, and there's a dead heather, so that's sort of like a bit of a pinky browny purple colour, so it might work, this one. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll shoot it, we'll give it a go, I'll show you, and then you can let me know what you think, if you want. No pressure. So I've just spent a really enjoyable 15 minutes with these sheep behind me, and actually they're pretty placid. I'll say that at the moment. They looked up, obviously they're wary of me a little bit. Well, they were wary of me, they're not too bad now. I mean, that you can just see they're just happily grazing in behind me now. But yeah, I think I've got some quite nice shots of those actually, and I will share those with you. I wish I had my long lens with me. Unfortunately I don't, so I've only got the 105 cropped in, so about 150mm. I wish I had a bit more reach, but I don't. But these are beautiful little animals actually. They've got some really interesting horns. Hopefully they just use those to fight each other with and don't attack photographers. But yeah, no, you're good, you carry on. But yeah, that's a really interesting 15 minutes, and I'll show you some of the shots I got and hopefully you like them. We'll keep looking, but I feel like we're sort of getting to the end of this little experiment today. But we will have a little look and see if there's anything else before I go. that's it, I think, for me. It's really warm. It's really, really warm for October, early October. It's crazy. There's dragonflies everywhere. Is that late? I'm pretty sure that's late, isn't it? I'm sure some of you guys will know better than me. But is it late? I'm sure it's late for dragonflies. Also, it seems to be the day where we're getting the old swarms of not butterflies, ladybirds. I had a few of them hitching a ride with me as I walked through. So I was just talking to a guy here as well, and he said this place has got a lot of adders, which I never even realised. I must keep an eye out for that next time, see what I can see, but I didn't see anything, and I haven't been bitten as far as I'm aware. But yeah, something a bit different there. Like I said, it's good to do different things. It's good to try and experiment and try new things. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope the pictures turned out okay. I mean, I don't know yet, but I hope they have. Yeah, it's been good fun. So thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you again soon.